Welcome one and all to Umami Manga. I'm Petter and this is James.
I'm ready, baby!
Yes, we're ready for Volume 5 of Spy Family. Notice I didn't say the X this time. I think I am actually learning this time for real.
You're
Even though I
cured.
thought I had learned it earlier when I failed last time, I think. But anyway, we're back. We're back for another volume, Volume 5. And,
I got a new hot take. Hot take.
Give it to me.
It's actually not that hot. This volume is the best one so far.
Dude, I was just gonna say the same thing, or at least, yeah, it's also my favorite.
I beat you to it
so far. yeah. But hey, so at least we agreed this time that there's a new favorite volume, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
sweet.
There's just so much juiciness and then great comedic timing on so much good comedic moments, but the juiciness as well is great.
Yeah, right. I definitely felt like this one was probably on par with Volume 3 for high amount of comedy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, and but then there was definitely a lot of like just, yeah, as you said, juicy and just kind of really interesting stuff. We had, a character that I'm very fond of introduced in this book, being Fiona Frost. So I'm very excited to talk about her a little bit later. But I guess starting with the Forger family makes sense. So how about Anya?
Okay, sure.
What was really interesting to me was learning that her telepath powers disappear one day a month.
Yeah.
Like that was something we didn't know at all, and I guess I had never really considered that there would be a drawback or anything like that necessarily.
Or at
But
least it disappears when the new moon occurs.
mhm,
That's not necessarily a whole day, right? Like it runs on a cycle, so
fair. But maybe that is roughly 24 hours though. Maybe
oh, it is a whole 24 hours. To be
maybe
fair,
I
I'm not
don't
sure
know.
how long the new moon cycle is. Like, is it
Yeah.
exactly 24 hours or is it a, you know, 12 hours kind of a thing and then it is no longer.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe you're right. Maybe
I
it-
mean
maybe
I
it is.
don't I don't claim to know it at all really, but I guess
Maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't necessarily expect Tatsuya Endo to have thought about it in that way necessarily. I guess because he might have just made it simple to just make it like a day a month is when it doesn't work, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he does have some very specific details on that. I don't know. But yeah, it was good to learn that, and obviously it affected Anya's uh the exam that would occur on the same day. Uh,
Right.
which, by the way, she managed to get passing grades all on her own merit for all of those. So, congratulations, Anya.
Congratulations. And she was looking on the bright side of it all. She didn't fail.
Yeah.
And compared to what she was at before, I mean, it's a good improvement. I hope there's more improvement, like just for her father's sanity and maybe for her own education. But
Yeah.
she's still a little girl, and
Yeah.
I think there's opportunity to grow academically. Although not everybody is as able to excel in school in academics as maybe
Right.
some other people, but
Mm.
then they excel in other ways.
Yeah. But this volume actually made me think that, since we did see this small improvement, I suppose, in her academic abilities, because
Hmm.
I think Loid said that he expected her to at least fail one of those, or someone said that. It was probably him, I think. Um, so the fact that she actually did pass on all of the tests on the exam was a pretty clear improvement, and it made me wonder: is she going to keep improving in a genuine way with that, or do you think she might at some point kind of resort to dirty cheating, mind reading tactics?
Um, Good question.
I feel like that would kind of take away from the progress that she's been making if she would ever resort to that in the future.
I think that for her own education as a person, yeah, potentially. I mean, obviously it's not great. Um, but for if you look at it as she's trying to fulfill a mission,
Hmm.
you know, maybe it's not too bad. you know,
Yeah,
this is for world peace. Got her motivation.
true. I just hope it
Um,
doesn't become. I just hope she doesn't like start to kind of always rely on it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Who? I
Hmm.
mean, yeah, I I wouldn't put it past her at this point, especially since she's just a little adorable ball of chaos.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh, but maybe she'll have. Well, she kind of did have a moment where earlier on in the volume where she realized, oh, maybe cheating is not the way to go or not the greatest thing to do.
Yeah.
But maybe it's more of a last resort kind of a thing.
Yeah. Let it be that. I do think this new moon was, in a way, a blessing in disguise, because
Oh,
the
for
fact that
sure.
she was able to pass without it, or rather with it, or, well, without her powers, the fact that she was able
Hmm.
to pass without her powers was, I think, great for her to kind of get that confirmation that,
Yeah.
she is capable enough, I guess, to at least pass.
Yeah. Good point. I guess I'm curious if Endo will ever go into uh, how the moon is connected to her telepathy powers.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, and maybe it's just more so that we'll go into her background in how the powers came to be, rather than the, there are aliens on the moon that control something ridiculous like that.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so I think it would be interesting if we eventually got an explanation for that.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely. And like and it also makes me wonder, like, does Bond's powers, like, are they also tied to some sort of other thing like that, potentially? Maybe the same as the moon, or maybe something
Well,
else.
yeah.
Potential, like, I don't know.
I
But
mean, we were speculating last time, would Anya's and Bond's power be connected in the way that they were from the same experimentations?
mhm.
So in that case, maybe Bond also can't see the future when the new moon comes.
Yeah, right.
Like, so who
Could be,
knows?
could be. Yeah. But yeah, anything more on her powers and what we learned about the powers?
I don't think so.
All right, then something else I really liked in this book with Anya was that she made Damien blush on
Mm-hmm.
a couple occasions throughout this book,
Mm-hmm.
which was very, very cute. I mean, it's cute from both of their ends, really. Like, to see his reaction to her doing something for him or being nice to him in some way, and or yeah, whatever it was in those various occasions. Um, yeah, it was just some very sweet moments.
Indeed. And I just like how she stood up for Damien.
Yeah.
You know, when the kid that we'll mention later basically accuses him of certain things, and the teacher gets upset, but she stands up like, "No, Scion boy would never do that."
Yeah,
Like
and
really,
she stares the teacher down.
she's so great. I mean, she knew the truth for very. I mean, one, she saw the kid and also could read his mind.
Yeah.
Uh, but also, I think she knows that Scion is not that, or Damien is not that kind of kid. You know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, either way, it was great to see her stand up for him, and I think that definitely won her even more points with him and Becky.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
But it was funny that teacher was like, I have a bad feeling about her. It's,
Yeah.
it's like all the teachers except for, uh, oh shoot, why can't I remember his name? It's such a great name.
Henderson?
Yeah, Henry Henderson. It's like all the teachers besides him just have a bad feeling about her, or just aren't very uncomfortable around her.
Yeah. Because she got a tonitrus bolt on the first day of school. uh,
She could just see through my mind.
yeah, man.
Guess they're not wrong.
Yeah, right. Speaking of that, it was also fun when she was at yours, no, at Lloyd's job, and he was talking about his job, and, like, well, since we can't look into people's heads, we have to be very careful in how we approach them, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. And she was like, yeah, she just kind of smirked at that or laughed at that.
See, it's like, why are you
Uh,
laughing about that, or why are you smirking?
yeah. Hmm.
So great.
Yeah.
Going back to more towards the beginning, like before she passes the tests. She's studying with Yuri, and
Yeah.
she notices how basically he melts in his sister's hand. I mean, at first she's kind of grossed out by it. It's like, oh, I got a heartburn. But then she realizes, oh, I could use this, and she basically manipulates him in order to help her study or whatever, or make him be kinder to her.
Yeah.
So one, I mean, it's not hard to figure out Yuri in that sense, but also Anya can be pretty manipulative. But I think
Yeah.
it's because she can read people's mind and see what they truly desire.
Right.
But she can manipulate the situation to go into her favor, based on what she is able to read. So yeah, it's. I mean, debatable if it's ethically okay. But I think, I don't know. I think she uses it in a way that's not harmful, especially at this age. Maybe, and
Yeah.
as she grows older, I'm sure she'll learn to control herself or only use it for other reasons. Only use it against the bad guys.
Right, yeah. I guess it's arguable whether Yuri is a bad guy. Well,
Oh, true.
I guess
Fair. I mean,
I
I
guess I
wasn't
probably
implying he
wouldn't
was.
classify him as a bad guy, but
No,
But,
no. I wasn't. Yeah, not implying.
that was a very great scene, I think, between the two of them.
Hmm. And then lastly, after she passes the test, and Loid says, "Well, you barely passed, but you did a good job."
Mm.
And her smile, her like smirk,
Yes.
precious.
Uh-huh.
That was the one I was waiting for, because if you people listening, if you go to our YouTube, Facebook, basically our social media banners, you'll notice that we have cherry blossoms, and then they have some of the manga that we're covering, like a character from the manga we're covering currently.
Mm.
And one of them is Anya. And I had no idea where that panel was from until this point. So I was looking forward to seeing it finally, and in what context, and it was
Yeah.
definitely worth it. Worth the
Nice.
wait.
Right. Great. Yeah. I was also happy to see it here because I didn't remember. I mean, obviously, I did know it was from somewhere that I had read already, but I didn't know where, since it all was quite a while ago. But yeah. It's a very good face.
Yeah.
And I guess the last thing that I have on Anya is just, it was kind of toward the end of this book where she just really starts to express her love for Yor. When Fiona is paying a visit, and she just shows all of that affection toward Yor there as her mama, and it just, but even though, yeah, sure, she is kind of playing it up a bit in the moment to make a point essentially, but I do think it is real. It's all real. She isn't lying or anything. She's just doing, I guess, playing it up a bit extra just to make that point. But really, she really loves both Yor and Loid. I think it's very clear that she really, really does love both of them as her parents, and she doesn't want to replace either of them.
Doesn't want to replace her kind, understanding, yet ferocious mother with a dictator mother. Like, that's definitely a losing exchange there.
Yeah, so. Right. Yeah, right. But actually, a bit on that though, I thought this book also made it pretty clear that kind of the family as a whole all sort of love each other in a sense. Like Yor and Loid also, like Yor. Yeah. I'm sorry for going a little bit into their characters here, but since I'm on the topic, like Yor, obviously she has that whole thing where she talks about she will wipe the cocoa forever, which to me it almost sounded like a love confession. I obviously wasn't, but it was like, it was kind of that energy in it in a way. But like, to me, like, definitely showed that she really values that family. And from Loid's end, we saw him, for the first thing that I noticed was that he was, in this book, he seemed pretty offended by Fiona's idea to replace Yor. Like, that was like the first thing that I picked up on. Like, he definitely didn't like the thought of that or the idea of that. Mm-hmm. But then plus also Fiona could spot some real emotion in his smile, in the end as well.
Right.
Which was even more of a giveaway to the readers that even Loid does have something like to or he
something is there.
he values
Something's growing.
he values what they have going there as a
Mm-hmm.
as a family. So it was just so nice. I think that this book in general just kind of gave us that from all of their perspectives. Even Bond, I think, in mission 3, or in short mission 3 rather, at the end of this book, I thought it showed just how much Bond loves Anya. He was jealous or envious of the penguin, but it was because he loved Anya.
He's a murderer.
Yeah.
He murdered Mr. Penguin Man.
Yeah.
Or Agent Penguin Man. Excuse me.
Yeah, gotta get the titles right.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Cold blood.
But like really, like all 4 forgers, they love each other.
Yeah.
And I love how this volume made that clearer, I suppose, than the previous ones had.
Absolutely. I mean, it was just gushing with wholesome familyness. Oh man. Like some people may be like, "Oh, it's too cute. It's sickening." That kind of thing. But to me it's it's not or it's just right, or I don't know. I mean, it's rich, really rich in that family wholesome cuteness.
It is.
But I love it.
Dude,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's just the right amount for me.
It makes me feel so good inside, just seeing all this
it really does.
wholesomeness, yeah. But I guess, moving on to your next.
I love her, I guess, tenacity or her diligence in trying to be a better wife. And obviously it's, well, she states at first it's more to keep her covered so that she doesn't end up single again and potentially lose her job. But as we see at the end of the very first chapter, she realizes that, oh, you know what? Maybe I really wanted to do this for these people, for these people I really care about.
Yeah.
And obviously, they're all realizing that they show some feelings for each other. But I think this was a very big moment for her in that she wanted to provide and be that motherly figure and wife figure for Loid and Anya.
For sure.
And not just to keep up disguises, but because, she wanted to make them happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I loved that chapter so much, especially for that reason, at the end there. And we just really see just how much she cares about them and like how she cares about what they think of her, like in a way that you sort of would in a family kind of.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was very sweet. And also, I guess at the start of that chapter, which I think was the very start of this book in general, I love the kind of the fake out with at the start of it with it looked like she was just coming home, like she had had a fight with someone that she had murdered, but she was just learning how to cook.
Oh, it was so great because it really was a fake out in that I wasn't exactly sure what the issue was or how she got the cuts on her hand. When I reread it, it was like, well, of course they're cuts from a kitchen knife. Yeah, of course they'd be, or some other cooking utensil.
Right.
But when I first read it, I assumed it was another, bullet in the butt cheek kind of a situation.
Yeah, but it was also, it kind of felt, because the bullet in the butt we sort of knew from the start pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, he sort of dragged it out for a few more pages, and it felt pretty dark for a while. She went into like a room by herself and cried. I was like, oh no, no, like, but then it turned out to be fine ultimately. But yeah, it seemed for a moment that it was gonna take like a much darker route or something.
Yeah, for sure. But in the end, she learns how to cook at least one dish.
Yeah.
A stew from her hometown, or from or something that her mother used to make. And yeah, like I think that's some great progression, because a lot of the times characters will not be able to cook and never learn how to cook.
Yeah.
But Yor technically has learned at least one dish.
Right.
So hopefully that there will be great progress in her ability to cook for the family.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Uh-huh.
Not make them die or pass out.
Yeah, yeah, I love those panels in this book when I think at first it
Yeah.
was Camilla and that guy from work, both
Uh-huh.
sort of we see them both like lying on the floor after taking a bite, and then later on we see the same thing with Loid and Anya,
It's so great.
and it's just so sudden too.
Anya's
It's like the
position.
next panel, just suddenly they're on the floor. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mm.
Another wholesome moment that I really liked in that same chapter is Bond sees the future of um your crying, and Anya's like, well, what makes her cry like that? But in reality, they were tears of joy because she was so happy, happy that she was able to make her family, or that they liked her cooking.
Mm.
Like, oh, that hit right there in the kokoro,
Yeah.
right in my kokoro.
That was very good. Another thing that I thought was just a real treat to see was your sort of imagining herself teaching Anya how to be an assassin. And like I loved for how long that sort of lasted too, because it wasn't just like a page or two. It was like at least I feel like it was at least like 4 pages or something, of just that whole scenario was beautiful.
Yeah.
And Anya with like the Thorn princess dress sort of, or like her own kind of version of that.
Covered in blood. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we'll tell Loid that we went to like a tomato festival or whatever.
Oh yeah, that would go great.
uh,
I wrote down yours yay was so cute. I don't remember where the yay was.
oh
I
wait.
I think it may have been when Yuri first tried her food. I think that's what it was.
Ah.
When Yuri first tries her food, he's like, "Wow, it's amazing," and she's like, "Yay!" I was like, "Oh, that's adorable."
Yeah. Then yeah, it is. I just found that page. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's yay
there
and,
you go.
and like a heart with it as well.
Yeah.
It's so cute. But Anya had a lot of yays as well in this book, which was
Oh,
also they were
for
always
sure.
like really cute and fun.
I think that's all I have on your.
Gotcha. Then I just have one last little thing. It was when Fiona came to visit, and when it was just the two of them in the
Mhm.
house, or in the apartment, I should say. Right? They live in an apartment,
Yeah,
right?
it's a complex. Yeah.
Right. That's right. Yeah. But anyway, when it was still just the two of them there, apparently Yor carried herself very skillfully, according to Fiona. Even though on the inside she was incredibly nervous that whole time, and I just thought I just thought it was nice to sort of, I guess, to know how well she can, I guess, cover up her insecurities like that, to
Mm.
the point where a professional spy like Fiona can, doesn't really see through that.
Hmm. It could be that, or Fiona was just, I don't know, just assumed that she was really calm or something like that. But you make a good point that she's a professional spy, so
Mm.
she should be able to pick up on stuff like that instead of being, you know, oblivious to yours anxieties.
Right, exactly. I think, or at least I get the impression that she would have been able to see through it
Hmm.
if Yor hadn't been as good at covering it up as she was, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving on to Loid, Twilight. It was nice to get to see his workplace at the hospital, or I guess his
Yeah.
fake workplace or his pretend workplace. It was nice to see that, and it got kind of along with that, or in that throughout that chapter, getting to know a little bit more about his thoughts on his real job. I thought was also really interesting.
Hmm. One, I didn't realize that he actually went to an office space in the hospital.
Mm.
Like, I just always assumed he was off on errands, and you know they would he would have some sort of alibi in
Right.
place. But he literally has a a job technically, taking care of patients.
Yeah.
I wonder if there are actual patients he sees ever. Um,
Oh, yeah. That actually, yeah, that's a good point. Because obviously, he probably doesn't have like an actual education in psychiatry.
although he's probably read the books.
True. That, like he can probably. I mean, surely he can learn it on a basic level to the point where he can pretend
Uh-huh.
very well to be educated. But at the same time, like he probably wouldn't be able to actually treat a patient professionally. I don't think.
Well, I
Or
mean,
I don't know.
I think I'm there with you, but some of the coworkers were saying like, "Oh, and he treats his clients so well," or I think someone said that. It was like,
Right.
when does he have time to see them?
I mean, because that might support, or sort of what you were saying a little bit before was like kind of how that maybe all of his patients are just fake patients, like they're other spies from the agency, perhaps
That could be,
that
yeah,
come in
that could be it.
pretend to be patients, and then they pretend to be cured. Could be. I mean, obviously we don't know, but I feel like that probably makes more sense realistically.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, I didn't take a whole lot of notes on Loid this for this volume, but I
Hmm.
my last thing is that he seemed to be taking Anya's sandbox results pretty seriously. When
Yeah.
she made that whole mess there. Uh, so I just wonder kind of how much that's gonna affect his approach going forward, because he did sort of say that
Mm.
he was worried for her and that he would try to treat her differently, perhaps. And I wonder if he actually will, and if so, how sort of will that change? Perhaps in the next volume. I don't know.
Good question. The last thing I have is the mouthing thing with Fiona is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Like, how can people do that in real life?
No
You
idea.
know, say something but they're mouthing something else? And wouldn't that look weird?
Right. Like like puppeteers can like speak without moving their lips, right?
Yeah, but that's different.
That absolutely. But this feels like like this might be like the next level after that. You know?
Next level ventriloquism.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, holy crap. Uh, It's pretty amazing. But, I mean, they're always doing ridiculous stuff. They're
Yeah.
spies.
Is that it on Lloyd, or do you have anything more?
Nope, that's it.
All right, then let's move on to Fiona Frost, or should I say Nightfall. I love her like a lot. I really, really,
Oh,
really,
really?
really like her. uh, yeah. So she's possibly the world's biggest Twilight fangirl, and
Absolutely.
I'm not talking about the sparkly vampire books.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she's she used to train under Twilight, and she's actually in love with him.
Yeah, like big time.
Yeah.
Wants to be his wife. Her ambition is to be his wife.
Yeah. Like when we got to learn that, I was like, oh my god, that's like some next level. Like, because everyone at the agency, everyone at Wise knows that like just how ambitious she is, but everybody just thinks it's because she wants to become the greatest spy and like usurp
Mm-hmm.
Twilight and everything like that. But no, it's all of it is just to become his wife.
I had my suspicions when she wanted to be the wife in the operation. I was like, does
Hmm.
she really like Twilight in that kind of sense? But then, she was still like stone cold the whole time. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not sure. And then Anya reads her mind. I was like, aha! Nailed it!
Yeah.
Called it!
I wish I could remember my reactions or like or sort of my speculations or thoughts regarding that, because I don't remember now. Obviously, going into my read of this now, I already knew that she was in love with him, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just wish I could also have like that fresh reaction like you. But yeah, that is great. And like how she herself requested to join Twilight in Operation Strix. Well,
Yeah,
I guess that was sort of the first hint, I suppose, toward I guess
absolutely.
her liking him or somehow have being interested in him. But I actually and on that, I really loved sort of how, in a way, she sort of plays a kind of similar role to Yuri, in that she is
Mm-hmm.
someone who comes into the family and she sort of basically wants to break up Yor and Lloyd, uh, because they
Yeah.
love one of them too much, essentially. And but even though she has that similarity to Yuri, I also love just how drastically different they are in sort of how they approach it, and sort of how they, or just kind of their demeanor in general, with Yuri being this like all lovey-dovey, just openly about like that,
Right.
but Fiona like just completely just stone cold and like doesn't show any emotion at all. So
Hmm.
I really enjoy that. While at the same time, as we saw, like in her mind, she's like completely different from how she is on the outside. And I guess that's a big part why I really love her, is like all of these glimpses we get. Like, yeah, surely on the outside she's really mean, and I guess on the inside she's a bit mean too. But but we get several glimpses through Anya of Fiona's thoughts and like, of her mind, and it's
Hmm.
not all just bad stuff. It's really like some of what we saw were really wholesome and sweet, I thought, and it makes me want her to open up, and I want to see some of that expressed through her for real as well.
Mm.
Later on in the story,
Sure.
would be lovely.
Absolutely. And what I find funny is, at least according to what we saw in their flashback training, the reason why she's kind of this deadpan, emotionless person is is because she really took, Lloyd's advice to heart.
Yeah.
Is I mean, you don't have to be like stone cold all the time, or you have to go to the extreme, but she goes to the extreme apparently. So it makes me wonder if before all this, she wasn't really like this at all, and this
Exactly.
is just
Mm.
her spy persona that she wants, because she's so loyal to Loid or Twilight,
Mm.
that she's kind of taken on. Um, but deep down, like you were saying, she's really just a typical woman in love, I guess, a person in love.
Yeah. Right. Totally. Yeah. So yeah. I'm really liking her. I guess I obviously we don't have much of her, um, and
Sure.
and I will say, without spoiling anything. I can't spoil much. And well, so last time we talked about Volume 4, we established that yeah, Volume 5 is the last thing I've read. After that, I'll be completely unspoiled. But after having read this, I was like, wait a minute. I feel like there's one more thing I've read that, or like one other thing that I remember, another scene I recall that we haven't
Oh.
read yet. And then I looked on my anime list where I've documented like all the chapters and stuff that I've read,
Mm-hmm.
and turns out that back when the chapters were releasing, or whether they're still releasing online, or like as they're coming out, but back when I was
Mm-hmm.
still reading them as they were coming out, I apparently read up to chapter 31. So
Oh.
I have read one chapter beyond this book, it turns out.
How dare you?
uh, so although I don't remember any details, I just remember like kind of vaguely a scene or like a setting. I'm not gonna say anything, of course,
Sure.
but
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, just letting you know that there is still one slight little thing that I have seen. But anyway, yeah, I just really love Fiona, and I'm very excited to see sort of her. Well, hopefully to see her grow as the story progresses.
Sure.
Because I get the feeling, since she is technically part of Operation Strix now, since she sort of
Mm-hmm.
basically invited herself into it, I'm guessing she's gonna play a pretty big role. Uh,
Or at least
moving forward here.
a consistent role. Like
Right. Yeah. She's not gonna be
she'll
like
be
the main
there.
trio for sure, but like
Right.
still like Frankie or Yuri, like she's gonna be probably on that level.
Another babysitter.
Yeah. Yeah. That would actually be pretty
Or the
great.
maid. Or a maid. I don't know. Although I
Uh,
don't think your maid take that not so great. It's like, oh, we're hiring a maid instead of, I don't know, maybe she'll be good. Anyway, but
we
that
don't know
brings
about her, like, cause she probably isn't as good at like disguise as Twilight is, because Twilight, like, that's his niche, kind of, that's his speciality is disguise. So I don't think
mhm.
Fiona would be able to or I guess I don't assume that she is able to disguise herself as well as he would. So I'm gonna I probably think she will stay in the role of Lloyd's coworker,
Oh
probably.
yeah, I mean you're right in that sense. But I just wasn't sure if she would just become a maid as well or something. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, maybe she has multiple jobs.
Yeah. But anyway, but that kind of brings up my thing with Fiona is that there's a love rival now. I mean, yeah, we had Yuri, but he doesn't really count.
We don't want to count him anyway.
We don't want to count him. You know, unless you're from Alabama. But sorry for people who listen in Alabama. But the thing with Fiona and Yor that I find a little interesting is that her name is Nightfall.
Yes.
Or her spy name is Nightfall. And as we established last time, Yoru is evening in Japanese.
Yeah.
So kind of a connection there. So who will be Twilight's, true Nightfall, true evening? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like this dynamic, this new potential love triangle. Obviously, there's one person in this, Fiona, who is very much in love with Twilight, and Yor and Loid maybe aren't. Well, they obviously aren't at that point where they are madly in love. It's still kind of growing. But I'm sure you feel the same way. I am obviously cheering for Yor and Loid to get together, basically, to eventually, confess to each other or actually grow into deeply romantic feelings.
Now kiss.
Yeah. Please. Where was I going with that? I was going somewhere with that. Shoot. One sec. I got preoccupied with the kissing. Oh, I like Yor more, just personality wise, look wise. I'm a Yor fan. I really like the dark. I really like dark and even black hair. I really find that attractive. Although you don't really have any of that in America. Yeah, you can find it in America, I guess. Especially if you. Anyway,
I love how this is the first time I'm hearing you say this, but I already knew it. I already knew that that's your type, just based on previous things that we've talked about.
It really is. Anyway, but not to say that Fiona is not very attractive, and is going to be a fun character with her dynamics. So I'm glad she's here. Again, we have a love rival. Actually, we have two love rivals, and I'm not talking about Yuri. There are two love rivals for.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah.
I find okay. It took me the moment to draw the connection. Actually, do you want to talk about her next?
Sure, let's go for it.
All right, let's move on to Becky Blackbell.
I didn't expect that, to be honest.
No, me neither. I had actually completely forgotten about that. So it also caught me by surprise. Yeah. Apparently she thinks Twilight is really attractive.
Oh my gosh, she's so hot.
Yeah, like Monster Mode Loid sounds really hot.
Oh my gosh, this girl is 6 years old.
Yeah, it's wrong on so many levels, but I obviously, since it's, I guess, well, we know it's never gonna happen.
No, it's just a joke. It's just funny that a 6-year-old is Twitter-pated with a grown man. Like, yeah. I mean, has the hots or someone. Surely, I mean, maybe that's the age when girls and even boys start noticing the opposite sex or having romantic feelings, I guess. But it's just so funny. I guess Becky in general just likes to be more grown up.
Yeah, true. That is definitely true, I think.
I do love her though. She's great.
Yes.
She also has some great. I mean, everyone has really good facial expressions, but her facial expressions are more, I don't know, like judgmental. Like,
yeah.
If she gives you a judgmental look, it's like, well, I might as well kill myself. No, I'm kidding. I shouldn't joke about that. But I really like her as a character because she keeps it real, but is also a great friend to Anya, and pretty awesome.
Absolutely. And I also love how she was in this book. She picked up on the fact that Damien definitely is interested in Anya, and she is also, since from this book onward, I suppose, under the impression that Anya likes Damien.
Wait, wait,
So,
wait, wait.
hmm?
Did she pick up? Did she get the
I think
feeling that
so.
Damien liked Anya?
Or
I know she
so
was saying that
okay. So,
Anya, or she thinks Anya's into Damien, but
yeah,
does she think the other way around?
I got that impression at least when I read the chapter where they make the paper models. When Anya says to Damien that she just wants to help him or whatever she said, and she sees them from the other table, and like in her head she's like, ah, so that's why Anya has been hanging on his every word. It all makes sense now. I I guess it could just be read as her thinking that of Anya.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
That's how I
But
took
I'm
it.
also I guess I just assumed that she saw Damien blushing because he's blushing right there and acting very like kind of worked up in a way that made me think that she picked up on him liking her as well. Although I definitely could be wrong about that. It definitely I guess the only thing that's for sure is that she picked up on, or well, she didn't pick up on Anya liking Damien
You're right.
because we don't know that she
It's
does.
not a thing.
Yeah, but yeah, like yeah, you're right that that's definitely the only thing that's for sure. And I guess on top of that, I
Let me
guess
correct myself.
mm,
It's not a thing yet.
yeah, exactly.
Not a thing yet.
For sure.
At this point, it's a one-sided minor interest.
Hmm.
Um, but who knows? I mean, obviously, that's the thing about Anya is she's really different from a lot of. I could talk about Anya again. A lot different from a lot of other characters because instead of being a, you know, I mean, she's a cute little girl, an innocent, cute little girl, but she's also, kind of tomboyish, and
Mm.
likes her Spy Wars and those really cool things. Like she's not as interested in dolls and romance and that kind of stuff. Like her playtime is checking up on Agent Penguin Man and how his mission to steal the peanuts is going.
Yeah, right, right.
It's that kind of stuff versus what maybe Becky would play around with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, although she did say she wanted a cute dog before she obviously before she got Bond.
Well, yeah, it's not
Like
to say like
a small cute dog.
right. You're right. And it's not to say that she can't like cute things or she doesn't.
Mm.
But I think but I think there is that tomboyish mentality
Mm.
a bit in there.
Yeah, no, I think so as well for sure. Uh, and I guess yeah, I think you made a good point that I guess Becky picking up on Damien liking Anya isn't for sure there, but maybe.
And there's a line in the George Glooman chapter
Mm.
where Becky kind of praises Anya for being so cool, and it's like, now Damien knows exactly how you feel, right?
Oh yeah.
And she's like, "What are you talking about?" So I don't know. To me, that still implies that she thinks Anya's feelings for Damien are just one way. Wrong way, girl.
Right.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know.
I mean,
Who knows?
at the very least, she's under the assumption that Anya likes Damien.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And to be fair, I don't think it would take very long for her to pick up on, or I don't think it necessarily will. I mean, maybe be volumes later, but
Mm.
I think she'd pick up on Damien's feelings eventually.
Yeah, right. She seems like a perceptive person
Yeah.
in that kind of way. So yeah, I also have a feeling that she might pick up on that. Probably before Anya will. Or,
Yes,
yeah.
I agree.
My last thing on Becky was something I was very pleasantly surprised by seeing was how she started singing for George, and she got everyone else to join in like the song that they all had with George on his supposed last day of school. But like, yeah, I was just happy to see that she was the one that took that initiative. It was really sweet.
Yeah, I guess she likes to sing, I guess, and it's that's sweet. But let me just say, since you brought it up,
Huh?
An- Anya's expression the whole time. I mean, first it's kind of funny. Like everyone in their grade is singing, and it's kind of like a kumbaya kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is so emotional." And Anya's like, "What the freak is going on?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't tell if she was just like, "Wow, this is so stupidly cheesy," or just so stupid, or if she was like, "Why does everyone know the word?" or "Why does everyone know this song?" Like,
Right.
I couldn't tell which one it was.
Anya was so great there. Yeah, she's just standing there with like the squint, and she's like just looking at the others, like what the. And then afterward, when everyone starts giving him all the things, she's like, yeah, "Here, have this leaf I found on the road." Yeah, such good pages there.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything more on Becky?
Apparently, her dad's company makes combat suits
Oh yeah, that's
of
right.
some
That's
sort.
right. Mm.
So maybe that's important information for. That I don't think we necessarily
Yeah.
knew what her company or her dad's company made per se,
Right. Yeah.
except maybe a tank.
Yeah.
um,
Right. Maybe. Mm.
but I don't know. I mean, that's kind of like a big deal. Combat suits.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely could come into play. What would be fun if maybe I guess either Yor or Loid would use that like a suit like that or something in the future. Maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting. You could consider it foreshadowing because she wanted to put the combat suit on
Uh-huh.
Loid,
Yeah.
the Loid
Exactly.
doll.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, or maybe Twilight has to infiltrate the Blackwell. Is that their name?
Oh yeah. Actually, so the last name is Black, or
Is it
in
Blackwell?
the character index, in the character index in the start of every book, her name is written as Becky Blackwell.
Okay.
But I think every time she's been referred to in the actual chapters, it's been Becky Blackbell.
Wait, what?
Uh-huh. Is how I've picked up on it anyway. And I also looked up on the wiki. I was very careful to not actually read anything, but
Of
I think
course.
on the wiki it's Black Bell.
What the what? Where did I get Blackwell from?
I don't know. Maybe it's another name that exists. I mean, I guess it does. But the only place I've seen Blackwell is in the character index.
So is that a typo then,
I guess.
or is that an English change?
Well, well, it would be strange if they had Black Bell elsewhere.
Hmm.
But anyway, I'm calling her Black Bell because I've seen that used more in the actual chapters. Plus, it's on Wikipedia. There's a little character like a cast list as well on the Wikipedia page for Spy Family,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's Black Bell there as well. So I guess I've seen Black Bell more just in general. So yeah.
Interesting. Where did I get Blackwell from? I think Blackwell might be in the Shonen Jump app.
Oh, I see.
I think Blackbell may not be a common last name, but Blackwell is. I know I've heard Blackwell in real life before.
Blackwell probably sounds more real or normal, sort of. But I like the sound of Black Bell more.
This would be really awkward if in actuality, like it is Black Bell in the Shonen Jump, and I just was reading it as Blackwell. That'd be really awkward.
Hey,
I'll keep an eye on that.
all right, cool. Yeah, and I guess I will too. But I think it's been at least usually Black Bell in these in the physical chapters. But anyway,
Gotcha.
anything more on Becky?
No, that's it.
All right, then let's talk about Yuri, the man on the cover of this volume. He brought band-aids to the cooking, which I thought was really funny because I felt like that implied that he probably expected Yor would cut herself.
I didn't think about that.
He knew.
Hey, maybe he's just always prepared, you know?
Or he has lived a life with her. You know?
Uh, I think he's a professional poison taster at this point. Like, I don't know if anything can poison him.
Oh my god, that's why yours
Yeah.
resistance is so high too, because she's been eating her own cooking. Oh my god.
Exactly. Exactly.
It all adds up.
Hmm.
Wow. But I do love how he's like he quote unquote liked the cooking, but he barfs as he eats.
It's so gross.
Yeah, it is.
But he ate his sister's cooking his entire life and lived. Like that's
Right.
wow. What a trooper. What a man.
Absolutely.
And something we kind of already knew, but Yuri himself explained it, was that he studied incredibly hard in order to help his sister. Because, of course he would.
Uh-huh.
But obviously it was very important to him to, make sure that he was excelling academically, to that eventually he could support her or just keep her mind at ease, kind of a thing. So.
Yeah.
I think that's it I have on Yuri.
Yeah, I don't have much either. I was expecting a bit more from him this volume just because he was on the cover, but there wasn't
Right.
as much as I guess there was in like volume 3. I think 3 had the most on him. But anyway, moving on to Damien Desmond next.
My boy.
Yeah, yeah, he keeps on growing. I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot. Something I really liked from him this volume was to see, like, 'cause there was a little sequence where he had one of those fantasies, kind of like how things could turn out in the future,
Yeah.
and he's like
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, like, yeah, just like that, like just like Anya has had on multiple occasions. I thought that was really sweet, and obviously it also well, it gives us more insight into his life, and it really, I mean, we knew a lot already, but it just kind of cements it even more, sort of how rough it is to kind of be in the situation that he's in, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, his dad won't even be around for the holiday, so he's like,
Yeah.
why bother coming home?
Mm.
And he definitely has a, I guess, inferiority complex, or just worry that his dad does not love him. And maybe he's right. Maybe
Mm.
there is no love or recognition from his father, and feels like he has to earn that recognition. So
Mm.
it's sad that such a young child feels that way, um, about his family.
Yeah.
So I hope eventually there is a resolution, or I don't know, maybe I know he's potentially supposed to be the big bad, I guess, but maybe there is some sort of Desmond family resolution.
Yeah, I mean that would be, for Damien's sake, I hope
Yeah.
that, that would be nice.
Well, and also the fact that he demands perfection from himself to become an imperial scholar, and
Yeah, oh yeah.
that's I mean, obviously that's gonna weigh heavy on him going forward, just always expecting the best, and things go perfectly, and that's partly why. I mean, not all the reasons why he's kind of jerky. Obviously, it's his upbringing, and his family pride kind of thing. And I hope eventually he'll get over that. I'm sure he will.
Mm.
But it is kind of hard to see anybody go through something like that, where unless they're perfect, they think they're not good enough,
Yeah, that is
and
rough.
that's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
But he's quite smart.
Yeah.
Passed all his tests and was in the top 2 in history, and that's fantastic. Good for him. And his
Yeah.
brother apparently is even smarter.
Yeah,
you
apparently.
know, so it's kind of like, instead of the trope where the rich famous family folk get by money and just the name alone, literally these two sons are supposedly very capable academically.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and we saw Damien get his first Stella star in this book. So,
Yeah,
yeah, congratulations, Damien.
good work.
Hmm.
Uh, and then lastly, he got back at Anya, or at least, yeah, for him, he kind of gave her a heh,
Yeah,
after showing the test score. I thought that was pretty great.
it
Pretty
was.
good banter between those two.
Absolutely.
By the way, just real quick,
Hmm?
it does say Black Bell in my in the Shonen Jump app.
Okay, then where'd you get Blackwell from?
I have no idea.
Well, at least that's settled.
Either you may have said Blackwell, like in a previous uh discussion,
I
maybe.
hope I
Or
haven't, but
oh,
obviously
I don't know. I
there's
don't
a
know.
chance I may have because I have been reading the character index, so I have had it in my head at least, so I may have accidentally said
Yeah,
that.
or I just put it in my head that it was Blackwell because or Blackwell just sounds more like a name, you know.
Right, yeah, yeah.
So maybe that's what I did.
Hmm.
Anyway, please excuse my ignorance and mistakes. They were not very elegant.
No,
They
no,
would have disappointed Henry Henderson.
you would have, but I'm sure he would have. He would forgive you in time.
Mm.
But speaking of Henry Henderson, the only real thing I got now noted down for him this time is that he seems to be in charge of like basically substituting for every lesson that like Anya's and Damien's and Becky's class are in, because like there was like the PE class in one of the previous volumes, and
Mm.
then here there was like the arts like class, and like he's there for every class. So apparently all other teachers are constantly sick.
maybe Loid is sending them uh, yours cooking.
Oh no. Yeah. Uh, but anyway, do you have anything on Henry?
No, I don't.
All right then. Then let's move on to George Glooman.
He's kind of like a young evil arch rival, where he gives off a evil villain appearance. You know what I mean? Like
Definitely.
he's a I imagine like a sweet boy, but his just looks and the fact that he was so scheming, it just gives off an evil villain kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. He has that design for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
he's just such an odd kid, like
Yeah.
like on so many ways, and I guess my memory of the first time I read this chapter, back when it was new, was that it I felt really sorry for him by the end of the chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So I was prepared for that sort of this time, but I didn't really feel sorry for him this time around. I guess I don't know, because he acted really dumb, really in a lot of ways. Like he took advantage of the situation in ways he shouldn't have,
Uh huh.
and all that.
Right.
So like sure he didn't mean to, I guess. Like or I guess the situation came about by accident, really.
Yeah, it was a misunderstanding on his part.
Yeah.
But even what he was asking for was maybe a little too far. But again,
Yeah.
he is a rich, spoiled kid, just like all these
True.
other kids. So,
True.
maybe his demands are a little a little more demanding.
Yeah.
I have a better word.
Uh-huh.
Uh, what I felt was embarrassment. Like I felt embarrassed for him. It's like,
Yeah.
oh man,
That's
going
true.
back to school after all that.
Oof.
I also felt embarrassed for all the kids who sang. You know, sang for him. Like, Becky's look. You better give all that stuff back. Uh, it just I don't know. Like it was just all embarrassing.
Yeah.
And Anya's like pat at the end. I don't know if that did any good or what.
Yeah, he just looked furious at her. Like when she did that. He I guess he can't give that song back to the other students.
Not at all.
He can give the stuff back though. And he'd better do
Yeah.
that.
Give back our tears.
Yeah. I wonder how much we'll see of him moving forward.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
wondering.
it's hard to say, like kind of, because he could just be like a one and done kind of character, but
Hmm.
definitely not necessarily. Like I don't know.
I mean, I don't think he'd be a reoccurring character, like a frequently reoccurring character.
Mm.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to scheme against Damien again for whatever reason. Maybe he blames him for the
Yeah.
embarrassment, or maybe he, I don't know, what Anya would have done at this point yet. I mean, yeah, I mean she wasn't the one that was singing, so I mean, if anything, she
Right.
was sparing him.
True.
Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, I'm not sure how he'll return, or maybe he'll just be, maybe he won't be the scheming per se. He'll just be a friendly kid in their class.
Mm.
But what's his name? The really odd, abnormal Billy, I think.
Oh yeah, Billy Batkins, right?
Billy, yeah. We haven't seen him
Uh,
really. I think that he was in a maybe even in this volume he was in a panel, just walking across a hall or something like that.
okay,
But we don't. He hasn't been in the story at
right,
all.
true.
So is that another situation? Similar situation?
Right. I mean, I hope to see him also appear, like I guess like both of those could be characters that we see like maybe from time to time, make a little like have a little bit of relevancy, but not I
Mm-hmm.
guess too much. I could imagine.
Yeah, I can see that.
Hmm. But I did like the revelation sort of that turned out that he was the one who had hired Agent Daybreak, or I don't know if he should classify as an agent,
Not
but
anymore.
Daybreak, the guy who dubbed himself as Daybreak, man, that was also great. I guess we can talk about him if you don't have anything more
Well,
on
all,
George.
all I have a day. Well, one last thing is trash picking up trash. Relatable.
No, no, don't say that.
Oh, but yeah, Daybreak. What an idiot.
Oh,
That's all
dude.
I have. That's all I
Yeah,
have on Daybreak.
yeah, yeah. I wrote down that he's a clown. Uh,
Dang, you're not just a clown. You're the whole circus.
yes. Yeah. Oh my god, he really was. But I do hope to see him again.
Oh, really?
Like I think it would be fun to see him again. Maybe like what if he would team up with Twilight? Like maybe like
Oh no.
much later on in the story, perhaps he comes back and it's like this big thing where like a bunch of like characters that he's met along the way team up for something or something like that. Or is that too
Uh,
anime? Well, I guess hey, it is kind of that medium.
This is anime. If he shows up, it's gonna be another comedic thing,
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
like a one and done thing where someone hires him again and he potentially gets in
Mm.
Twilight's way, or maybe he gets in yours way.
Oh yeah. What if she had a run in with him? That would be fun too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but he can't be compensated.
No.
Well, I mean, look, people can change, I guess, but no, to me, he would never be compensated.
No. No, yeah. No. No. I guess that's all we have to say about Daybreak.
Sorry if you really like Daybreak. I mean, hey, I mean, he's fun to laugh at.
Yeah, that's basically it. uh, any other characters that you want to talk about from this book?
I think that was it.
Then moving on to the comedy.
Way to ruin this, Loy. I just
Oh yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
And that whole chapter, just all the cooking and just everything, it just bust a gut. Like, it's so funny.
Absolutely. Yeah, and seeing yours first meal that she made in that chapter, it was so gross looking. like with a fish bone, and there looked like there was like a rodent in there or like something.
Ew.
And like just it was so gross, but like really funny because of that. Uh but I guess every volume has funny Anya moments, and I just have a couple of ones, couple of those ones noted down here. The first one being when she dropped the photo on the ground. She's like, "Oh no, I just dropped this super cool picture of my dog. Gosh, I'm so clumsy." I love that panel so much.
It's pretty great.
She didn't even manage to get Damien's attention with that one anyway.
Yeah, got the wrong person's attention. And then
Yeah.
that whole chapter, she's running around with the picture. It's like, give it back!
Yeah.
No!
And her face, like her evil face when she found out that Damien was good at history, and she was like, "Ooh, now I know whose thoughts I can read to ace the history test." Like that was such an evil face. I love it.
Absolutely. So good.
Also, her reaction to finding out that Fiona loves Twilight was also priceless, I thought.
Very well done. Like, the eye rub.
Yeah, like a long reaction to that too, which was just a gift that kept on giving, kind of.
Some lines I like from her. So this is my last meal. You can resurrect him.
Yeah, that's also good.
Now he's even deader.
Yeah.
After she like totally mutilates the penguin.
Yeah, she probably did more harm than Bond did.
Oh yeah. Oh, I thought she'd be really good at sewing. I guess not. If they have love, they can soar through the skies. Wait, what?
That's right.
Knowledge is swole chihuahua.
Oh my god, that's right. The whole enchilada. that was really funny.
Swole chihuahua. And I really wonder what that was in Japanese.
Yeah.
Like I could see chikara, which is power. Maybe chikara, chihuahua. Maybe that was the correlation. But then what would the swole be? Like, I guess one word I know for like soul or very muscly is muki muki.
Oh.
But what would Yuri had said that sounded like that? So I don't know. But anyway, I just find that very, very funny, that imagery of a swole chihuahua.
Yeah, and I love in instances like these when, like, obviously we don't know exactly what they translated it from, but still for the translators to make it work, like
good job.
do is like it's awesome.
It's like whole enchilada. Ooh, that sounds like chihuahua.
Yeah,
kind of.
I guess. Yeah, no, but it's really good. I also loved when Anya was just straight up hissing at Fiona.
Oh god, so good.
It was glorious. So scary. I can imagine just like an out of key piano chord kind of hitting in the anime, kind of in the timing to that in the anime, perhaps, or like some effect like that.
Oh, it's gonna be great. Can't wait. Another one of Anya's lines that is like, "So do you think you've gotten the grammar now?" What's a grammar?
Yeah, exactly. So good, like the timing of that and the expressions and everything.
It's so great.
Oh, I love it. Well, I think the thing that made me laugh the most in this whole book was that the paper griffins won first prize, and just that whole scene with that, and like the description as to like why the motivation to why that was why they won it. Like I laughed my ass off reading that whole bit. Like it was
so great.
It's so funny. And it's sort of, I feel like it's sort of mocking like some art critics in some way, like in the real world kind of,
absolutely,
where like there's just sometimes these bullshit sort of motivations for some things, and like you look at it and it's like, yeah, no, this is just like a child could have done this, and obviously this is what actually the case in this book here. But yeah, it's funny on that level, but also just it's just hilarious in so many ways.
It's like, I mean, clearly it's not a great looking piece, and yet they were very moved by it. You know,
yeah.
Art is in the eye of the beholder. You know what I mean?
It is.
Going back to the Yuri study session chapter, after he leaves, he drops a piece of cookie. I don't know if you noticed this, but Bong goes up to it, sniffs it, and then he eats it. And then when Twilight or Loid comes to the door, the poor dog's like passed out in front of the door, like on the side of the door.
Oh,
just like after eating that piece of cookie, like, oh no.
I think I missed that.
Like there's a panel where he goes chomp.
Oh, I see it now.
And then when Loid opens the door, he's just right there, just passed out. Poor thing.
That's so funny.
Rolls away. I think I was talking about Daybreak, when after he's done, he's like, okay, make sure you tell everybody that Daybreak was here, and he just like literally rolls away.
Yes.
that was pretty funny.
Speaking of rolls away, Desmond style rolling sweep.
Yo, what?
That was so random. But you know, it's totally something like that a little boy would do, like thinking he's super cool, you know?
Right, exactly. On point.
I know, like when I was that age, I would like pretend I was a Jedi and like shit. Like I would have looked. Sure. It would have looked
totally.
Like I looked like a clown probably.
Absolutely, like kind of lost in your own thoughts. But what I love even more is the look that Becky gives, like absolute disgust.
Yes. I love that.
Oh, judging so hard.
She has so many good expressions like that.
Yeah,
uh,
it's so good. Uh, After Anya tells her parents the story about George, George's like, that was such a beautiful story.
yeah. And one moment that got me a little bit nervous for a moment was when Loid was about to look in Anya's notebook after she had been, taking notes
Oh
on his
yeah,
work,
yeah.
and I was like, oh no, 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 and I really felt her in like that moment, and then it just turns out that he couldn't even read it because she had like just her handwriting was just undecipherable.
Yeah. I kind of saw that coming, but
Yeah.
I still think it was really well done.
Yeah.
And I love in the corner you can see she drew Bond like Bond's face and wrote Bond underneath it.
Oh yeah.
Like she never mentioned that at all while she was making the notes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
She's just a little girl, obviously.
Gotta draw my dog.
At least her dog looks somewhat to it like a dog.
Right.
How she draws other things.
True.
In that same chapter, Yor remembers the concussive therapy, and she brings it up.
Yes.
And one, it's just funny that she brings it up, and Lloyd's like, "Oh, let's not talk about that. That's for special patients." But then she literally mentions it in her report.
Yeah.
Oh, so great, and Henry Henderson's reaction to that.
Yeah.
What?
He dropped his monocle. That's how surprised he was. Yeah, and poor Loid had to go to talk to the teachers about it.
I wonder how he got out of it.
Yeah, somehow he was able to talk his way out of that, but yeah, wonder how.
It's unimportant.
Yeah.
And then the last few things I have are from the final chapter. When Anya comes back from the walk, Anya is in the house.
Yes. So good.
Oh, she's so funny.
She is.
And then Fiona is just kind of thinking in her mind, like she's daydreaming about marrying Twilight. And she's like, "We'll honeymoon in the South Pacific." Like, I don't know. For some reason, I thought that was really funny because she's it's just this person we're introduced as someone who's very stone cold and wouldn't think she would be into that kind of stuff, but no, she was thinking about all the honeymoon and the marriage and planning it all out, and she probably has an idea how many kids they're gonna have maybe eventually.
Yes. And that's what makes her so sweet, I think. Or and it's also like a sad situation in a way, because it's like, I mean, I think a lot of us can relate to not being able to tell the person that we like them. I think a lot of people can relate to that situation.
Sure.
And I don't know, I feel a lot of that from her.
Indeed. Maybe one day. Nope, too late. She was too late. No, who knows? But I think. Lastly,
I just want to say real quick that just because I love her as much as I do, I'm still shipping Loid with Yor, like 100%. I am. But still.
Don't be a homewrecker.
I just love Fiona.
Fair.
So much.
And my last thing was, I love the hissing Anya. It was so funny. I also really love the face that Yor makes just above it in the battle.
Yeah.
It's just so cute.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So good.
So bubbly and all sorts of wholesomeness.
Yeah. This volume was so great in so many ways. Like, it really had it all.
Loved it.
Absolutely. So I guess what else do we got? I guess I can join in on potential predictions and stuff.
Woohoo!
Now, except for that one chapter that I read that follows this. But I guess, I guess we do often sprinkle in little predictions here and there throughout the discussions. But what I will stand by is that I think Fiona will continue to play a pretty prominent role, basically like a secondary character, after the main
Yeah, yeah.
three, um, she's definitely going to be there from now on, I think, and I'm very excited to see what comes of that. And like the mission that she and Loid will go on, I'm excited to see sort of what that's going to bring as well, because they were hinting that they were going to have a mission together soon.
Oh,
So
I thought it was just the current mission, like Lloyd's current mission with his family. I forget what's it called.
oh,
Starts with
Operation
S.
Strix.
Strix. Uh, like she's part of that mission now. So doesn't that mean that they're going on that mission?
Oh yeah, I guess to me it just sounded like there was a specific, maybe like a specific little operation or like
Uh,
mission like thing,
I might have
but
misread it.
I don't
But
know.
anyway,
Yeah.
uh, I just think about her being a secondary character, and then another secondary character is Yuri. I don't
Mm.
know. Like, what if something happens there between those two? Obviously, they're from two
Ooh.
separate countries, so maybe that's not gonna happen. And I'm not shipping them right now because they haven't even interacted yet. But
Mm.
it could be potential some sort of romance. So I mean, especially since Nightfall is just so uh, infatuated with Loid and the idea of marrying him. I
Yeah.
don't know, like maybe if she were to find some other love, if it
Right.
shouldn't work out, maybe it would work out. Then it wouldn't be as bad. But
Uh-huh.
I'm also not saying that if you're a character, you got to get hooked up with somebody. Like I'm not.
No, no,
I'm not trying
I
to say that either.
understand. Of course, of course. No, but I obviously the thought crossed my mind as well, like, because I am a strong Loid Yor shipper. I was thinking, well,
Hmm.
if Fiona wants love, then I guess who could she maybe fit with? And I don't think being from different, like being from Westalis and Ostania respectively, like that doesn't need to be a deal breaker, since obviously Yor and Loid are from each of those two already. Um,
Yeah, a little
and,
different situation though.
uh, of course, true, true. But then again, like Fiona is incredibly in love with Twilight, and that
Absolutely.
makes it
And
makes it hard
Yuri
to ship her
is.
with. Oh yeah, exactly. And Yuri is right, feels sort of that way with for yours. So yeah, I guess for those two specifically, it's hard to sort of ship them with any other characters,
Hmm.
I suppose.
So the only one, another potential you could throw out there is Frankie, because we know
Hmm.
he's definitely looking for something, and
Yes.
the girl that he was kind of crushing on,
Yeah.
unless she comes back in some other way,
Mm.
did kind of sorta look like Fiona, kind of sorta.
Yeah, like she's blonde. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's about it. I don't know. I think he would clearly be attracted to her.
Yes. Oh
Maybe
yes.
he would be scared of the fact that she's a spy. Maybe.
They might know each
Um,
other, or at least be acquainted with
maybe
each
they
other.
do,
Like they both work for Wise at the very least, so they may know of each other.
but maybe like he has an in. Like, hey, I'm close friends with Twilight. You get with me, you get close to Twilight.
Yeah, it's like he would
Uh,
absolutely probably love to date her, but
yeah.
I have a hard time seeing her being interested in Frankie. Sad
Oh
to
yeah.
say.
Oh, I totally get that. Um, and that could be that, but that could be the thing. It could be an interesting development
Oh
where she
yeah, yeah,
does, grow
true.
feelings, but or nothing ever happens. Like it's strictly about Yor and Loid and Anya, then
Mm.
their love growing versus the secondary characters finding anybody.
Right. But at the same time, I really want Fiona to find
Happiness.
happy love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while obviously the main characters should be the focus, I would like to see her find someone else that she can be happy with eventually, after
That's
obviously
fair.
plenty of development having to happen. But it would
Sure.
be it would be nice to see, because I think she deserves that, because she, or at least I don't think she's a bad character. Obviously we haven't seen much of her, but I
No.
feel like deep down she is a good guy.
Yeah.
So
I
she,
mean, she's supposedly on the good guy's side, I guess.
right,
you
yeah,
know.
she works for Wise, so
Yeah.
yes. So anything else?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think where else the story could go from here? I'm still looking for that more backstory from Yor and Yuri, specifically what happened to their parents, because we finally like kind of saw them as a family, like
Mm.
eating around the table. That that was being a flashback, but we still don't understand what happened to them. So I'm hoping that eventually comes to light.
Would you like to know who's on the cover of the next volume?
Sure, yeah. Who?
It's my girl Fiona Frost.
Oh, Fiona. Yeah, yeah. I really want to collect the physical volumes now. Because all the art is just so great.
It is, it really is. Plus all the great extra pages, like between chapters
Yeah,
and
and
stuff
extra
like that.
pages, right? And then with Anya, I just wonder how is she going to earn more stars? I mean, it's got to be in some
Yeah.
really unpredictable ways.
Yeah, it's really hard to predict those, I think.
Yeah.
Well, she in general is very hard to predict.
She is chaos,
She
at least according to Loid.
Yeah. Are you hearing that, James?
No,
Dude, I think that's the outro music that's tuning in.
I don't hear anything.
No, it's the outro music.
Oh. Oh yes, I hear it now.
You hear that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it sounds like it's time to end.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoy our content, you can follow us on Twitter at Umami Manga, and it would be lovely if you'd like to support us by either rating our show on the podcast platforms or subscribing to our channel Umami Manga on YouTube. If you like this episode, please share it around with anyone you think might enjoy it too. Thank you again so much for listening, and we'll see you next time when we'll talk about Volume 6. Bye bye!
See you later.
Shino peed the bed today.
Oh no! Wait, on your bed?
Yeah.
Oh no! Why?
It was kind of my own fault.
Oh, what happened? Was you just alone for a little bit, or?
No. So, did I tell you about my plan to teach her to use the toilet, like a human toilet?
No.
Okay.
No, this is the first I'm hearing about.
Oh, okay. So I've been trying to take it like step by step, but today, or actually last night, I removed the litter box completely, and I figured she would be ready for the toilet, but she didn't use it. And then earlier today, I guess she couldn't keep it in anymore, so she peed in the bed. So it was my fault. It was my own fault.
Uh-huh.
And now the litter box is back now, so she's happy again.
Are you gonna keep trying? And is this just is this a way just not to have the litter box and to the toilet kind of a thing?
I mean, I wanted her to really know to learn how to just use a human toilet, because it would be just simpler, I guess. But after this, I don't know, man. Keeping a litter box isn't really that much of a problem, so I think I might just really just give up on this and just let her keep her litter box. Let her be a cat,